Well, that was better than I don't really know where you are.
All right, we'll call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Norris.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
White.
Here.
Brown.
Here.
Ely.
Here.
Godwin.
Here.
All right, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Approval of the minutes. Everyone should have received a copy of the minutes. If there's no additions or corrections, those will stand approved. Approval of the current financial report. You should have received a copy of the current financial report.
Move to adopt.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to approve the current financial report. Discussion. Call the roll.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Moving on, approval of the agenda. We do have a need for an executive at the end. Other than that, I don't think there's any other changes.
Move to approve the agenda as amended.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to approve the agenda as amended. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris.
Yes.
Rogers.
Yes.
Schmidt.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Brown.
Yes.
Ely.
Yes.
Godwin.
Yes.
Mr.
And-
President,
Yes.
we have to state why we're going into executive. The 121G.
We do now? I didn't do-
When we add it.
That's that paper I gave you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought
No, that's
we
okay.
did that at the end. Okay,
It's off to the left, I wrote it.
yeah. 121.22, to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official. Thank you. All right, moving on to the public hearing. Anyone wishing to address council, please step forward. Step up to the mic. State your name and
This is my first time, so. My name's Charlie. We have the issues like on 12th Street. There's been like parking issues, or our neighbors downstairs are not willing to listen to nobody. They're literally blocking us in, letting their dogs loose, and we had to literally call cops every time we turn around. But I don't think cops are gonna do anything. You know, I talked to one officer, they said that they cannot do nothing about it. Them blocking us in, because we literally are parking on our neighbor's property line area.
What is that address or block that it's happening?
213 12th Street. And they also put a fence up where we cannot bring our trash can out back. We live upstairs apartment, they live down below, and we literally have to take our trash into our neighbor's yard to take out back for the Rumpke people. And it's been ongoing since they've been moved in. I think, what was it, honey? Oh, January? I think about January. And we're getting fed up with it. And they were telling me to park on the other side of the road. It's like, I told them nothing, anything in your road, and they don't want to listen to nobody.
Is that right behind Marsh?
Yep.
Okay.
And I am fed up with it.
Are you
Really, I called cops today because they let their dog out.
sharing the house together is what you're doing, or?
Yeah, it's like an apartment complex. It's like a duplex. We got an upper apartment and a lower apartment. We live upstairs.
Have you talked to your landlord?
Yeah, he won't even do nothing because of his grandkids. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just have one question. Somebody stopped me this week and they wanted me to find out the answer to this. On the walking path and like over there where the Jim Beakey statue is, the person asked me, can golf carts go down that path? Because they notice golf carts are on there. There's golf carts everywhere now. Sometimes a 12-year-old is driving those golf carts. And so I said, I'll bring it to council and find out, are golf carts allowed on those paths that where, you know where I'm speaking of, next to the Garth Museum? Is that permissible?
So I would say no, but that path is actually owned by Dark County Park District. That section of the path is, so we don't have jurisdiction over it, but I can't imagine they would want golf carts on that
Well, they've
portion
seen
of
them
the
on
path.
there. Can there be a sign posted that says no golf carts permitted along that path somewhere?
I think there used to be one that said no motor vehicles, which I guess you could
Yeah, no,
say, well, it's
That's pretty
electric, so it's electric motor. I'll get with the Park District.
Okay.
Like,
And I said, well, I'd find out. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Lieutenant Benji. I just wanted to go over some events that we have coming up here with the PD. Thursday, between 5 and 7 p.m., Dark DD on Jaysville is hosting a family fun night. Every year officers go, the sheriff's office goes. It's a good time. It's open to the public. They do canine demonstrations, face painting for the kids, music. It's a good time. And then tomorrow through Sunday, the Family Motor Coach Association, they are having a rally at the fairgrounds. There's 200 plus RVs that come in. It's a good time too. We went to it last year. On Saturday, they're going to be presenting Lieutenant Boyer and I with a bunch of teddy bears they collect throughout the year. It's kind of their thing. For kids that are victims of crime, it's a pretty cool group. If you guys get time, stop out there. Last year they said they loved Greenville so much they wanted to come back this year. This will be their last year here. They do 2-year cycles, no more than 2 years anyways. But yeah, so if you guys get a chance, it's a good time.
That's Wednesday evening, Ryan?
Wednesday is when it starts. Saturday night's their event at 7 p.m. in the cattle barn at the fairgrounds. Otts, our K-9, he found a half a pound of meth on a traffic stop with the sheriff's office on May 31st. It was really cool to and I know his handler, Officer Hall, was ecstatic because he's been waiting on that big bust. He's had a lot of little stuff over the last year, but this was like bringing it home. To see all that training pay off, it was awesome. Really, and on that same token, all the officers and dispatchers are doing great. The tornado response, everything was great. We have a new officer, Nick Colby. He's going to be starting June 18th. He graduates the academy that same day. We're excited to get him in the door. It's been a long process for him, and to see that we talked to him today, so me and Lieutenant Boyer, and he's ready. He's chomping at the bit. We're ready to have him too.
Is he from this area?
Yeah, he's from Greenville, and we're looking for home roots. Like, we really want to find those people that are from this area and want to be here, so we're excited for him. We have high hopes, so.
Lieutenant, what academy did he go to?
Edison.
Edison.
So
okay.
June 18th, Lieutenant Boyer and I are going to go over there to the graduation.
Very good.
Yeah.
The Dark DD event was out at Birchwood?
Yes, Birchwood, 5 to 7 p.m.
Okay.
So it's that last year they had a good time. The K-9s do little demonstrations for the kids, and the kids get into the cars and fire trucks, and it's fun.
I agree.
Are they doing that regardless of the rain tomorrow evening, or?
Tomorrow evening?
No, that's Thursday.
Oh, you said Thursday. I thought it was
Thursday, yeah, 5 to
Wednesday.
7 on
Sorry.
Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ryan.
It's Wednesday. It's
Anyone else wishing to address council?
These days, too.
Okay, let's move on to administration reports. Mr. Mayor, anything?
Yes, Mr. Whitaker, Mayor Whitaker, sent me a couple things. So Marty McCabe is having a fundraiser event at the Corner Shack Tuesday, June 11th from 4 to 8 p.m. They will have a Kona Ice, free food, volleyball, laser tag, inflatables, DJ, and the dunk tank. The mayor is actually going to be there, so if everyone wants to come out and dunk the mayor, I told him I would really promote that. And then also the fundraising event for the tree donation through YOLO. That is going really well. I think they're at 37,000. I think the last I'd seen on the internet. That's awesome. I think that's going to really help with our trees, and then also maybe help with some stump grinding and some other stuff. So, if everyone can, and that fundraiser Marty's having is all going toward that YOLO tree thing too. So I think that 37,000 is going to probably double times that we get done with that. So let's see here. And pretty much that's it. Does everyone know, so Marty McCabe's place is there at the corner of 121 and Russ Road, that corner there. So you'll see some activity going on there. And with that, I pass.
All right, thank you. Moving on, Safety Service Director, Mr. Delk.
Thank you, Mr. President. Some updates for this evening. So the first exciting one, I think we talked about it back in maybe December. We applied for a grant through Ohio Department of Development called Close the Gap. So when we originally applied for the 502 water transmission line grant, we received 1.44 million. The engineer's estimate at that point was about 2 million during COVID, and just the lag of till the project was designed and off, it ended up being about 3.2 million instead. So Close the Gap, so we applied for $1.2 million to close that gap from the engineer's estimate to the bid, and we received that funding. So we'll get that entire project, another 1.2 million of that entire project paid for. So
Awesome.
It's a big step. Probably next council meeting, I'll have the grant agreement to approve, but Governor DeWine just announced it on Friday.
Great.
Yellow Park restrooms, ongoing project. So the exterior block walls have been blocked up. Brick has been applied. Some of the rough plumbing has been installed. We're waiting on the plumbers to come back to finish up the rough plumbing, and then they'll block the interior walls. I think they're scheduled the 16th of June. As soon as they're complete, it'll come in and they'll put the roof structure on. And then at that point, we'll start hanging all the sinks and toilets and getting the electric buttoned up and be ready to open. We're shooting for 4th of July at this time. We'll see how it goes. If everything keeps falling into place, it's moving along at a pretty good pace, all things considered, with everything else going on, but pretty happy with it. We were able to get the city pool open last Saturday, the 1st, so a week late, but considering the circumstances of how the park looks, I was extremely happy with the crew, how they took charge of that and made it happen. We have some parking restraints right now because of all the brush and lumber in the parking lot, but we'll be working through that as well. South Park Splash Pad is open as well, and starting next week, Dark County DD along with Venture Links is going to have a concession stand down there at South Park, so they're excited to get that going, a way to train workers. Just a tornado update. We've applied to FEMA. I'm not optimistic we'll receive anything, but we're going through their paperwork to supply everything they want on cost associated with the tornado. We'll see. Everyone I've talked to in recent that they kind of went through the same process told me not to get my hopes set too high for FEMA funding. We're scheduled to hear from the insurance adjuster. He said tomorrow, Thursday at the latest, so we can get that kind of figured out. As Pro Temp Mayor Baumgartner had to think about that, stated, the tree donation program. So we're working with a nonprofit called Retreat, and it's Keep America Beautiful, and they come in after natural disasters, tornadoes, wildfires, hurricanes, and kind of help you through that process. We're going to be working with an urban forestry consultant from ODNR on on the replanning stages of that. Met with so we had a park board meeting earlier tonight, and so the park board, wants to just kind of step back and take a look at it. There's a lot of devastation, and where are things going to fit best? What's totally destroyed? Can something different go in that place? They want to work on a master plan for the park and make sure that it's all put back the right way. And then the brush pile and the tree that are at the pool parking lot, I'm working on getting estimates to get that ground and removed from that area so we can get it back to normal. So next two big things we have is the first band concert's July 2nd, and I promised them that they will have a band concert, so work cut out, and horseshoe tournament on July 6th and 7th, and I've also made a commitment there, so we're gonna make it happen one way or the other. And I guess I should have ended with the close the gap, because the last part is not great news.
No.
So the EPA has been talking about lead lines in our water system, state of Ohio wide, for a few years now, and they have just started to come out with what their plans are and what their requirements are going to be. So Curtis and Scott, our water superintendent, assistant superintendent, sent through a multi-page webinar the other day on what to expect. So basically, by the end of 2024, we have to have a large percentage of where we think there's a lead service line identified. And then from that point, by 2027, we have to have a plan in place of how we're gonna start replacing those. And then you have to replace them 10% a year on a rolling cycle between 2027 and 2037. So we estimate, and this is estimate because what we're going through right now is we received a grant. It's been, I think it was last year sometime, where for identification of lead lines. So they're working through that process and then going to work through logging all of that information in. But I would say we're probably looking at a couple thousand is what we think is out there. Until you dig it up and get eyes on it, you really don't know. If you recall, the last lead service line grant was about $1 million, and I think that did 112 of them. So we're talking some pretty substantial money to get through that process, but we're working on it.
So there's going to be grant money?
There is going to be grant funding. They're talking 160 million for the entire state, which is pretty substantial, but when you break it up to 88 counties, it doesn't.
Counties and how many municipalities?
Right, it doesn't go near as far. But there is some that they're planning on releasing. Yes.
And how many did you say we have? Guesstimate, your guesstimate?
2,000.
$1 million or
Yeah.
100.
And when I say 2,000, it might not be lead, but maybe it was lead at one time, and then, so it gets a little deeper, but if there was lead at one time and then your indoor plumbing is galvanized, or even your service line into your house is galvanized, the lead has absorbed into that galvanized, and that then requires replacement as well.
And can homeowners, taxpayers expect some financial hit on this?
Well, so we're responsible for when I say lead service line, it's on our end. This bill is written on our end. So it's from our main to our curb stop. And then from the curb stop in is the homeowner's responsibility. The last one we did, the last project we did, was we did all the way into the house. And we had to get agreements in place with each homeowner. We did all the way into the house. But with the cost and because of our requirements, I think we're going to have to focus our funding on our end just because it's going to be the law. So reading through it, it sounds like we have to educate the homeowners. We have to make 4 attempts to get them to replace their portion of it. they have the right to say no. If they say no, we give them a filter process that we recommend they use on it. And then if a homeowner elects to replace their side, we automatically, like even right now, have to replace our side. If they say, hey, we have lead, we're replacing it to your curb stop, we have to do the rest of the way. So I guess to answer your question, I think it'll be a choice, but it's not a great choice.
Not mandatory,
Right.
but strongly suggested.
Yes.
Okay.
So were their homes built like up until a certain year that they'd used the lines?
Yes, so it's no different like lead paint, like I think it's pre-68 and even into the 70s, they were still using some lead lines.
So you're looking at probably some of the older housing developments, say like in the south end of town and.
That's a big one. Yeah.
Yeah, hello.
South end of
Oh,
town,
nice to see you, nice to see you.
the east end of town, like around where
Yeah,
Mr. Rogers lives in 3rd, 4th, 5th, all that area, are ones that, when I say 2000, that's why it's like, oh, it's probably there because of the year it was built.
yeah,
And that's where we are with it right now.
okay.
They're doing
Thanks for
hard.
the heads up.
Absolutely.
Doing hard Thursday and Friday in Anderson. Thursday and Friday is what I was told.
Oh, identification? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll answer any other questions, but
On
that's all I have.
the tornado I didn't get a chance to see any of the pool stuff. Like, was it a lot of stuff blowing into the pool? Much damage? Or?
Not a lot of damage to the pool structure itself, some things blown into it. Most of it was trees, fence damage. The old pool concession stand that's just used for storage is most likely a total loss. The chlorine shed was splinters. But the equipment in the pool, we didn't really know until we fired it up, but we just patched around on all the fencing and made it safe for people to get in and out of it. But the pool itself and the pool equipment, the filter system, and that was
All good.
all good.
Is the county auditor, like, are they going around to people's houses and talking? Do you know?
I have no idea.
I only asked because I had it on my Ring camera today. Some guy was trying to show me his ID on my Ring camera, and so I wasn't sure if that was like halfway legit, if I should call the auditor's office. Or...
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
They are, okay. And then my last question is, I had someone ask me about fiber company.
Omnifiber.
Like marking their yard. They had said that they had just had two different times they had don't park on that side of the street, and one other time they had just multiple flags put in, but they just haven't noticed any work being done. I didn't know.
So it might be Omnifiber's kind of wrapping up.
Okay.
They're down to asphalt repairs, some yard work, and some sidewalk concrete,
Okay, so
like
it's not
hard
that-
surface. But Brightspeed is here right now
Okay.
doing it, so it's probably Brightspeed.
Well, I hear
Central
him say the heart is a gentleman that lives on Anderson, so it may be the.
Right, probably,
stuff.
yeah, probably Brightspeed, I would
Okay.
guess.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ryan, one question, summer help and getting the park arranged, are we okay on the summer help, the college kids or high school kids?
Yeah, we have a great crew of seasonal workers this year. Had some really good numbers, and yeah, most of them just started Monday, so that's a huge help with
I was
trying to get all the things that have
hoping
been
for, yeah, some good numbers coming
put on the
back.
back burner. So yeah, they're a big help to keep everything rolling.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Ryan, a couple months ago, we talked about the project for the new doors on the fire building,
Yes.
fire department.
Yep.
Is that all now completed?
No, the doors are ordered, but it's not, they haven't started it yet. They've ordered the doors, they have to come in and, they're waiting on the doors to get here, then they have to come in and, take out all the rotten wood, put new wood, wrap it, aluminum wrap it, and then install the doors.
Okay, are we going back with the same type of doors?
No, there will be tempered glass garage doors, similar to what you see in Covington. So the doors needed replaced regardless. They were just at the age, and we've had a lot of breakdowns, and we've had a lot of breakdowns on the openers themselves. So we had planned or tried to replace them the last couple of years through the capital improvement funding, and we just kept kind of kicking it because other things came up. And then when it was time to do it, the fire department got $25,000 worth of donations to upgrade to the glass front garage doors.
So we're basically getting the same doors, but upgrade at no extra cost.
To the city.
Is that correct?
No extra cost to the city.
But the cost of the replacing the old doors with the same style doors versus replacing with the glass doors is not just a $25,000 bump, is it?
Oh, I don't think it's that much. Yeah, I think it was about 30,000 if we would have replaced them without the upgrade, and it was like 48,200 to replace them with the glass.
You know who donated that?
I'd have to ask the fire chief to know for sure. It was multiple, it wasn't just one big donation.
That 48,000 is all in, all done, 30 to 48, or approximately.
Yeah, like 48,225 is what, like, all the POs are, all in, all done.
That all came out of the capital appropriation.
Yep,
Well,
excluding 25,000.
so only 23 came out of the capital and 25 came out of donations.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, any other questions for the Safety Service Director?
Put him on the spot tonight.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for.
If not, we'll move on. Law Director, Mr. Riemann, is not here with us this evening. Mike, we're thinking about you. We'll move on to Mrs. Davis.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have one request. We are getting the 2025 first submission of the budget together. So I need to request a committee assignment from the Finance Committee regarding that budget. It will have to be sent to the county by, I believe, the second meeting in July. We will need to be able to vote on it. So the report would have to be back by then or prior to that meeting. Currently, we have all the budgets are in from the departments, and I am getting the figures together and all the numbers together. So another week or so,
Should have.
we might have to, yeah,
Okay.
and we would be able to meet. So give me
Very
another
good.
week or so,
We'll
and
get something set up and get
Yeah.
that wrapped up.
that's all I have, unless you have any questions of me.
Okay.
I have one, Kim.
Sure.
I saw your report on the income tax, and I know we talked about it last month and said there was a lagging factor,
Uh-huh.
but it looks like we're still lagging,
Yes.
and we're lagging bigger.
Yes.
We're lagging like 26% from last year. Is that a catch-up that's going to happen?
There's still some returns that, like we discussed prior, that have not been filed, and I don't know, when those would or would not be filed. The other part of it, I believe, is just about 200,000 or 300,000. I can look here.
The lagging amount for last year is about 1.3 million, I think.
Yeah, but the million is a return that's not been returned. Like, there's returns, business returns that have not been filed, and they have extensions. So we don't know when they're gonna file those. They have an extension, and we don't know when they will file that return. So
We're
they have until
We're confident that million is coming to us.
I can't say yes or no to that and won't.
Confident that we can spend it.
I'm not gonna say yes or no to that either today. So we can talk
Confident we're
about
not
that if you
spending
want.
it then. Let's ask it a different way.
We have a budget that we have passed. We have a revenue that we have anticipated. The revenue
part of
is
it.
being reviewed, yes, and that is part of it. So it will be reviewed. Does that answer your question?
Partially.
Okay. Anybody else?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Doug, do you want to make that, set the date on that or that finance committee?
Fine, yeah.
Well, if we had it back by the first meeting in July,
Yeah, that's
that would be okay.
Yeah, I'm just not 100%. Carol's out this week, and I want to make sure, but every one that I went back on to look at the due date was around the 18th or 19th of July, and we've always had it to them in plenty of time.
Right.
But the meetings for July are obviously the 2nd and the 16th. So I would definitely need to have it done by the 16th for sure.
We're gonna shoot for the first meeting. You just let me know when everything is ready so I can get it passed out to these guys and we'll set a meeting then.
What's the
Okay.
process of reviewing that?
We're gonna have a meeting.
Just sit down in the meeting and review the document?
Yeah, they'll get a
Okay.
initial budget ready. You'll be able to review it, and then when we have our meeting, you'll
If
be able
first,
to
okay. If
answer
first submission
questions
is in early July, when is final budget completed?
The final budget has to be submitted by March 31st of 25. We like to get the numbers together and start the process in the fall, at least to know where we are and those things. But it doesn't, most of the time, last year we, obviously, with Roxanne retiring, she already had the budget completed and done, but we did not pass it until after, I think it was the second meeting in January, maybe. Might have been the first meeting in February. Normally, we pass it, we have passed it either prior to year end, or we have passed it January, February. If we don't get the figures together and have everything that we feel confident about, we will wait and just pass temporary appropriations for operating only, and then pass the budget into the following year.
So the budget development is more than a 9-month process from develop, review, approve.
We can discuss that. If you'd like to come up and see me, we can go over that before the meeting, before
Okay,
we
I
have the
will.
finance meeting. Okay,
Well, thank you.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else in the committee reports? Okay, moving the agenda on to ordinances and resolutions. We have 5 for you to consider tonight. The first is the supplemental ordinance.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. The supplemental ordinance allows for appropriations in the general and park funds in the sum as follows. Equipment maintenance police in the amount of $4,240. These funds are needed due to an insurance reimbursement. Refunds park in the amount of $1,000. These funds are needed for park shelter refunds as they are unable to be rented due to the damage from the tornado.
Move to suspend the rules, give this ordinance second and third reading only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this ordinance a second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. An ordinance to make additional appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Greenville, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
Move to adopt the ordinance.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the ordinance. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Okay, moving on, number 2, resolution to adopt an alternate format of the tax budget.
A resolution adopting the alternate format tax budget for the year 2025. This resolution adopts the alternate format of the tax budget of the city for this fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2025.
Move to suspend the rules on this resolution, read it by title only, second and third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution a second, third reading by title only. Discussion
Mr. President, why?
on suspending the rules?
Oh, you don't want to suspend the rules?
I just want to know why. I'm just,
Why we're suspending the rules? Do you want to answer that, Mr. President, or would you like?
That's how we handle every other.
I understand. I understand we handle almost everything that way. I'm just asking the question, why? Is it something that needs to be done today, right now? Since the detailed information didn't come out till today.
So would you?
What is, there's a why question that goes into the next stage of this, but
Well,
I just
we
asked.
have a motion, you've asked your question, we're going to vote on it.
Okay.
If you don't,
I
you
understand.
vote how you choose.
I will.
Any other discussion on suspending the rules? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
No.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution adopting the alternate format tax budget for the year 2025. A resolution adopting the alternate format tax budget for the year 2025.
Move to adopt the resolution.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion.
What is the alternate format?
I can explain that, if that's okay, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay. This was also a question that I had. Jessica and I talked about, we had passed this last year, and I didn't understand we had to do it every year. But what it is the Budget Commission for the county, whom we submit our budgets to, and it is due, like we said, in July. This alternate budget has to be passed, this legislation has to be passed yearly. And what it is it's an agreement between the city and the county. The county just requests this alternate form of budget, so it doesn't have as much detail information. And if they request, then they can request further information from us. Basically, what they want to see in May, or July, excuse me, is that we have a balanced budget. And if they request any more detail, then we supply that detail to them. So they've just kind of changed the format in order.
Shorter form, basically.
Correct.
So less detail and less requested. But
Yeah,
the
they
detail's all
want-
still, the detail doesn't change in the budget.
Correct.
It's only what's submitted that
It's
changes.
a summary, basically. Yeah. But it's still, all the detail has to be there. It has to be listed by what we pay in salaries, what we pay in personal services, what we pay in supplies and other funds. And it also has to show the revenue carried and the revenue that we expect, and then the balance of that fund. So all the detail is there. It's just not a line by line by line, so it's less cumbersome for them to review.
Thank you. Is there any cost associated with this change?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Good? Okay.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
All right, moving on. Number 3, a resolution authorizing safety service director to enter into contract with iWork.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with iWork Systems, Inc. for software. This resolution authorizes the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with iWork Systems, Inc. for software.
Move to suspend the rules and give this resolution second and third reading by title only.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to suspend the rules, give this resolution a second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
No.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with iWork Systems, Inc. for software. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to enter into contract with iWork Systems, Inc. for software.
Motion to adopt?
Motion by Mr. Godwin to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll.
Mr. President, what's the cost associated? There was no cost listed in the legislation.
Yes.
What's the cost?
The cost is $11,100 annually.
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 And what do we get for that?
So we use this we're already utilizing this in our planning and zoning department and our street department. This one's for the water department side. So basically what this does for us is, the main reason is asset management. So we're required by the EPA for asset management on our water side of things. And then this helps with inventory, work orders, logging information. So how this is done now is a Excel spreadsheet, and we have a lot of information that's really hard to find and really hard to keep track of. So this cleans it up, and they build this software to work for each department the way it needs to work. And it's a matter of, like, water break at 100 Public Square 5 years ago, and this happened this time, this happened this time, and then when we just type in that number, it'll say, here's where you were, here's what you did, here's how long it took you, here's the crew you had on site, and then this will also help us on logging our lead service lines, like 100 Public Square has lead, this place has copper, and tracking and then being able to retrieve all that information as well.
So how many other contracts do we have with iWork?
This would be contract number 3. So we have one at planning and zoning that we use for our permitting processes for sheds, pools, fences, anything right-of-way work-wise. And then we also use this for tracking all of our code enforcement. So when our code enforcement inspector goes out, he takes a tablet with him, and then he uses that to say, I'll use 100, gets a complaint at 100 Public Square for these certain items. He logs all that, he takes pictures that saves to that address, and then that's a way for him to get back when we go to court to have all the information. It also generates code enforcement letters, so then those letters are mailed out to the citizen, whatever code violation they're in. At the street department, we use it for fleet maintenance, so oil changes, tires, brakes, anything we do or repair on a vehicle gets logged, and then that keeps it logged in that system. And then it also sends emails anytime that a piece of equipment is due for routine maintenance. And then we can track all that and track all those costs.
So this is an incremental contract for 11,000. What are the first two?
So I believe the planning and zoning is, I want to say around $8,000 a year. And the street department is more in line with this, but I think it was around 10 if I recall correctly.
And all I was trying to get to is, if we're doing all of these with iWork, isn't there a benefit to bundling them together and getting some kind of a,
So that because of this, the actual, what they, like if we just go to iWorks and say, we just want this for the water department, it would have been, let's see, another $7,400. So by having it bundled, we save $7,400. Does that make sense to you? So like, sorry.
now if it cost us $11,000, we didn't, I don't see what we say.
So it's $11,000. So if we didn't have it at the other two places, it would be $18,500
For them.
for just water, if we didn't have it at the other two departments.
Okay, you're saying they've given you a discount to 11,000. So each one of the other two were smaller,
Yep,
and this one's bigger.
yep,
So we're just almost doubling, but not quite.
right.
Okay. Is there other people out there that do this
Did do software like this?
besides iWork?
Oh, yeah, all sorts of them. We've looked at all of them. Dude Solutions.
Competitive?
What's that?
Are they competitive? That's the real
Yeah,
question.
yeah, yes, they're all right there. Two reasons we like iWorks. One, they build it and continually like change things easily. Like if something comes up and we're like, hey, we don't like how this is tracking this, or we want to add something, like they do that free of charge. But it's over my head, but software engineers.
I'm not trying to get there.
No, you're right.
So this is 11,000 on top of about 18,000
That we already spend with.
we already spent, so it's about 30,000, and is that a budgeted expense going forward?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Any other discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
Moving on, we have a resolution to waive a return check fee.
A resolution waiving the return check fee for April Baker. This resolution waives the $30 return check fee to April Baker due to the check being encoded improperly at the bank.
Move to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution a second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
A resolution waiving the return check fee for April Baker. A resolution waiving the return check fee for April Baker.
Move to adopt the resolution?
Motion by Mr. Rogers to adopt the resolution. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
And number 5, we have a resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into contract.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into contract with Dark County Educational Services for transportation services. This resolution authorizes the mayor to enter into contract with Dark County Educational Services for transportation services.
Move to suspend the rules on this resolution and read it by title only, second, third time.
Motion by Mr. Godwin to suspend the rules, give this resolution a second, third reading by title only. Discussion? Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
No.
Schmidt?
Abstain, I'm sorry.
White?
No.
Brown?
Abstain.
Ely?
I'm going to say no because I don't know what it is, so no.
Godwin?
Yes.
Where are we?
3 yes.
So you can't.
So we can,
Are you suspending the rules?
yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll give it that's
This first
second
reading?
reading next time, yep.
Yep. Okay, moving on to old business. Nothing more. Moving on, our council representative outside committee for the Dark County Visitors Bureau.
Be me.
Do you have anything to report?
So talked to the director. He had went to Ohio Tourism Day over in Columbus and said it was a lot of good exposure. Passed out quite a few of the welcome guides. Updated us that the, is it Yodel, I believe, for the events calendar is up and operating on the Visitors Bureau website very well. I went on there, it's fully loaded. There's all sorts of stuff that it's drawing. They voted to donate 500 to the tree donation, so I thought that was good. Very good. So
Awesome.
anyway, that's it.
All right, thank you. Communications.
We received the monthly report of May from the Income Tax Department.
Okay, let's call down the council.
Norris?
I'll pass this.
Rogers?
Yes, thanks for coming up and expressing your concern about the property that you live in. And also, thanks everybody for coming up. And with that, I pass.
Schmidt?
I will pass.
White?
I will pass.
Brown?
Thanks everybody for coming up. Going to be a busy week in the city as well as the county. So just welcome to all the guests that we may have between the RV deal as well as Eldora. The late model dream is this week. So there'll be lots of trailers, lots of other RVs, lots of everything all over the place. So just be on the lookout. I'll pass.
Ely?
I'd just like to add on to that. Eldora is bringing in some people to shop Main Street Greenville. They're going to Sure Shot for an event, lunch, and then they'll be shopping in downtown Greenville. Also, Friday night is First Friday again, comes up every month, First Friday, and they're having the non-profit organizations set up tables, and so take a walk downtown and see what else you can do and help and volunteer and support. So with that, I pass.
Godwin?
Just like to thank everybody for coming up and Lieutenant Benji for giving us that information for the up and coming events. And with that, I'll pass.
All right.
Mr. President?
Yes.
One more thing. I would like to extend the condolences. Eldora Speedway lost Jerry Gappins, their general manager, for those of you that are not aware. So he was very well known in the racing community, here locally as well as in Indiana. So definitely will be missed, and just wanted to get that out there. Thank you.
Okay, I'll take a motion. We need to rise to executive session.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Rogers to rise to executive. Discussion. Call the roll.
Norris?
Yes.
Rogers?
Yes.
Schmidt?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Ely?
Yes.
Godwin?
Yes.
All right, thank you everyone for attending.